All right, we are rolling along as we preview all 32 NFL teams this year, trying to find who has the best auction draft value this year on each team. And there's a lot of value. There's some that there's not so much. And this first one we're doing as we get to the AFC West, the Denver Broncos. This is one of those ones where it's kind of a by default pick because you can't really, it's tough to really make a case for many on this team. And so we had to, by default, my pick, I think we agree here, is Javonte Williams. And it's essentially only because he is probably at this point penciled in as the starting running back, you would think. P. Ryan's probably going to be there, but Javonte should be the starter. They do value him on Fantasy Pros around $11, but when you go to actual live drafts on ESPN, he's going for only about $2. So I can understand. I would say if you go off Fantasy Pros, I do not think I would never get him for $11. The $2, $3, that's a little more likely. But the reason I went with him is just because it's an unsure quarterback situation. Is Bo Nix going to be the starter? Maybe. Probably at this point, probably, right? Because you could throw Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham out there. It's probably Bo Nix. But what's that do? Cortland Sutton would be the next option, you would think, but I can't trust a rookie quarterback. And they have Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims, Adam Troutman at tight end. It has to be Javonte. This isn't a ringing endorsement, though. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, look, Denver is going to be a rough one this year. And even though as a player at a time, I could find some love for them. Like, I've always been a Cortland Sutton fan. But, hey, I don't think he really wants to be there. We don't, like, Craig, you laid out so well. I don't think we really know what the QB situation is going to be. And even though we gave Russell Wilson a lot of guff, he was still better than what they had currently, right? We're going to have to find out. The one thing I will say, tight end, I'm still there where I'm like, okay, maybe there's something there where you can, like, a Dulcich after the injury, because I did like a lot of what he was putting together in the couple of years previous. But Javonte Williams is the one guy I'm looking at, and even though I haven't heard anything overly positive, right, I always think back to the running backs that get hurt and need 1 year to kind of get themselves sorted out, and then all of a sudden they look more like themselves or like their previous selves in that second year out of injury. And I mean, even some of the really, really good ones, and I realize they're probably not the best people to compare them to, but at the same time, even better when he has no one that he's really competing with. P. Ryan, well, I'm sure he'll be fine, but he does have the opportunity, and I do think maybe a slow start, but I think that he could actually end up having a relatively good year, especially when you're trying to get a rookie quarterback situated. You're going to be throwing a lot of shorter passes. I could see him being very much integral in that. And look, we never really get to see what Javonte Williams would look like at the height of his powers. And last year, he only had 3.6 yards per carry. None of that is, does bode well. But at the same time, his rookie year, and I'm thinking we're going to be closer to that, he was the first 2 years really 4.4 yards per carry, 4.3. And he was able to catch, quite a few receptions as well. He had 43 his rookie year for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns. And in just 200 attempts, 203, he got 900 yards and 4 touchdowns. That was obviously him playing second fiddle. So in saying all that, I think he is worth the risk because I love the zero running back kind of scenario, and he kind of plays perfectly into that because you're not going to hear a lot of good things about this team in the preseason. You won't. And even right now, like you type in his name, and I guarantee it's going to be about not seeing a lot of burst or how he's pretty much over flaming out. I'm checking, judgment, and I do think that there is a possibility he might be a really prime time play. And I'm not saying that he's someone you should get for your running back 1, running back 2, anything.
He's way down he's the end of the bench,
he's down the list. But even for that, if he's creeping up to the $8 mark and you're going, running back 0, I get it, because you can get 4 or 5 of those guys for that kind of price, and a couple of them will work out. And last year, that was kind of what got people to the playoffs and to championship games. So it does mean that you have to find value other places, but and it just shows.
and people might say, well, Cortland Sutton's dirt cheap too. He is, but there's a million receivers in that. Like there's a million receivers you can find at that price. So
and I probably would have maybe went. I just don't think he wants to be there anymore.
And it's a rookie quarterback who was the sixth of the rookie quarterbacks drafted. Like
he might turn out to be the best one of the bunch. It's quite possible.
I just don't expect it.
No, I mean, I don't see it.
All right, that'll do it though for Broncos. Next up was going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Could be more interesting, but we'll talk to you guys next time.